Now, in the past few hours, the US confirmed it is imposing sanctions on Syria's president for human rights abuses. All of this following the violent crackdowns on anti-government protesters. The measures are the first to target President Assad personally. They include an asset freeze and bar Americans from dealing with him. The restrictions also apply to 6 senior Syrian officials. Let's discuss these developments now with Middle East expert Tariq Ali. And Mr. Ali, the US vows, quote, it must begin to introduce change with these sanctions. Will they work?
I don't think sanctions work. I think they're essentially a symbolic measure. Usually when sanctions are applied against a country, they affect the poor people in that country more than the ruling elites, as we saw for years before the United States invaded Iraq in 2003. They had imposed a bloody sanctions regime which led to the loss of children's lives because medicines were prescribed. Now they are saying that these sanctions apply largely to Bashar Assad and the Ba'athist functionaries. Well, these people can still carry on. I don't think they'll be too affected. It'll be an irritation, but nothing more.
So the sanctions will be ineffective. It is interesting how you do a comparison with Iraq on this situation. Now the grip is tightening on Syria. Switzerland also imposed sanctions on the country's officials, adding to earlier EU measures. How far do you think is the West really ready to go here?
I don't think they can go too far. I mean, till very recently, they were negotiating on very friendly terms with Bashar Assad, trying to get him away, detach him from Iran, drag him towards their side, and then possibly even use him and the Ba'athist regime in Syria against Tehran. Well, that has now fallen by the wayside. But in my opinion, the intervention of the West in Libya has been a disaster. The bombings, the indiscriminate attacks, the destruction of buildings in Libya, the clear siding with one side in this conflict has meant that whatever happens, the Libyan people have actually lost, because they are now caught between the hammer of the West and the anvil of Muammar Gaddafi. It's been a disastrous business. So it is always better for a country, any country, to develop organically. And if the people can topple a government, that is how it should happen. Whenever the West intervenes, it's usually disastrous.
Well, I mean, you're saying the intervention has been disastrous. There are many that are saying that the original UN resolution 1973 has been stretched beyond any limit for what's going on, what was supposed to be a humanitarian mission, a no-fly zone. Now, if we can just focus for a moment on the sanctions here, Obama said that Syria's government poses, quote, an unusual and extraordinary threat to national security, foreign policy and the economy of the United States. What kind of extraordinary threat is he talking about here?
I think threats are manufactured at will whenever they wish to manufacture them. I mean, governments with whom they've been friendly suddenly become security risk, and this is largely designed for consumption at home and within Europe and the vassal states. These are excuses that are being prepared. But for me, I cannot see what security threat these countries pose the United States at all. It is true that in Egypt, we have a situation now where people are demonstrating against Egypt's pact with Israel, which was a very lopsided pact, and they're protesting against it. But that's what democracy is all about. I don't think anyone poses a security threat. How could they?
All right, now, just when we were getting used to the idea of America, pulling back, for example, in Iraq and Afghanistan, now those efforts are being poured into other nations, certainly regionally speaking. Why does America feel the need to interfere, do you think?
I think there is a great deal of nervousness in the United States because of its own economic insecurity. The American economy is in a total mess, as everyone knows. It's an economy fueled and based on credit. The rise of other powers in different parts of the world, in particular China, as creditor nations, makes the United States uneasy. And they feel, their strategic thinkers feel, that the only way way they can pull out of it is by showing that militarily and ideologically they are the hegemon, the global hegemon, who can enter countries, violate sovereignties, target individuals at will. This precise moment, I mean the decision taken to execute bin Laden instead of capturing him alive, the decision taken to essentially not do anything on Israel-Palestine, the decision taken to carry on backing the Saudis, is part of President Obama's election campaign. He started this election campaign in a very dramatic way to be re-elected by Osama bin Laden, taking him out. And now they're carrying on. I think everything now is going to be determined by the needs of this election campaign over the next few years.
Middle East expert Tariq Ali, thank you.